Welcome everyone to another episode of Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, and Real Live with Damon, the agent. I'm glad that you're back. I hope you all had a great holiday weekend last week. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you all. And let me just say a happy early Feliz Navidad, Happy Kwanzaa, and Merry Christmas since we're in the month of December. Today is Friday, December the 2nd, 2022. And like I always do, I like to begin my show by always talking about what's going on in the world of real estate. So let me begin. This is episode 36. Today, in the world of real estate, I am going to be talking about the benefits of home ownership. Now, I really want to talk about this because of the fact that some people that I've actually spoke to, let me grab my notes and everything. Some people that I actually spoke to, they were renting and they basically were saying to me, like one person in particular, she was saying that when it pertains to owning a home, that she didn't want to deal with a lot of the maintenance things that her father had elaborated to her about, that she needed a man before buying a home, things of that nature. And I explained to her that if you get a man and he's not mechanically inclined, then some men do not know how to fix up things around the house. So doesn't necessarily mean that you need a man in order to buy a home. And at the same time, there are plenty of single women out here who are purchasing homes. So I basically wanted to just go over some of the benefits of home ownership for some of you all who may be against the fence and hesitant because of the same thing as this young lady that I was speaking to. First of all, let me explain things when it pertains to people who are alone and they feel like that the plumbing may go wrong or things of that nature, something go wrong with the house, who they're going to get fix the house, because when they're in an apartment, all they have to do is call the maintenance department. They come and fix everything, which is true. But when you own a home, you don't have to have a maintenance person. You can have a home warranty. A home warranty, when you own a home, covers a lot. It covers basically all your appliances. It covers your plumbing, electrical, in some cases your roofing. It just really depends on what kind of home warranty that you have. But a home warranty acts as if it's the maintenance guy for you. For example, let's say if something goes wrong with your plumbing and you own a home, you call the home warranty department. In most cases, you pay a deductible, and then they send the actual plumber out. Something goes wrong with one of your appliances, same thing. You call the home warranty department, and what they do is they send someone out and they fix it. It's like your maintenance person when you own a home. Just like when people have lawn care that they need taken care of, they have a lawn company to come and do the same thing. Same thing when you own a home. So do not let that limit you. So some of the other benefits of home ownership is, one, is great. You get a great tax benefit when you own a home. Many people don't seem to understand that owning a home brings this. Like, for example, for those of you who don't have any dependents, who don't have any kids, who don't have any write-off, when you pay your mortgage every month and the property taxes that are charged to you as the homeowner every year, you get a tax deductible write-off. You get credit for actually owning your home. So you do benefit tax-wise. It helps a lot of people tax-wise who are homeowner. You always have to talk to your tax advisor to get the full in-depth as far as the tax benefit, but people benefit mainly. I knew one person who actually owed every year taxes. Once they own the home, they actually got some money back. So I think people should take that into consideration as well too. Another reason that owning a home is very critical and beneficial to people is you can use your home as collateral. For example, if you're a person who wants to start a business, thought about starting a business, you should basically understand that your house is being used as collateral. You can use it as collateral because here's the thing. If you're trying to get a home loan, I'm sorry, not a home loan, a business loan or a consumer loan, in many cases, when you're filling out the application, they ask you on there, do you own or do you rent? The reason why they ask this particular question is because when you own, and once they run your credit and they can match up and see that you at 1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street, and that what comes up showing that you're the owner, your chances of getting approval is much higher because you own. And the reason why is because if you default on any loan, they will slap a lien against your property. And they know that they're going to get that money one way or another. If you try to sell that property years later or whatever the case, they will get their money back eventually. So your chances of approval goes up significantly when you own property. So that's one way it can be used as collateral. Another way that it can be used as collateral is if you have equity in your home, for example, and you need money, you don't have any money, you're down as far as finances are concerned, and you have equity in your property, you can actually take money out of your property. You don't always have to go into the bank and to fill out a loan. You can do what is called a HELOC. A HELOC is a home equity line of credit. And what the HELOC does is basically, let's say you bought the house and now you have $100,000 worth of equity and you need to take out $25,000 for whatever reason. You can take it out. You don't even really have to go through the process of refinancing. Now, refinancing is another way to get money out of your home, and it's also another way to lower your payments as well. But two of the things with refinances is you have to pay closing costs all over again, and you're resetting your loan. So if you've been paying on a mortgage for over 10, 15 years and you refinance, you're going to reset that loan. And of course, the payments are going to be lower because if you've been paying on it for 15 years, your mortgage balance is lower after 15 years than it initially was when you purchased the home. So, but you can take money out refinancing. But a HELOC is another great way to benefit someone who's trying to, get some money and everything and trying to start that business, but they don't have the means to actually go, or have the credit to, get a loan, a consumer loan from the bank. That is one way to do it. Now, also, another benefit of owning a home is, for example, when people are renting an apartment or renting a house or whatever, most of the time your rent is due on the 4th or the 5th of the month. And if you don't pay by the 4th or 5th of the month, what ends up happening is they end up writing, they go down to the courts, and then they, you have to go to courts like 30 days later or something to that effect, and then they're talking about evicting you. When you own a home, of course, initially you're supposed to pay on the 1st, but you have until the 15th of the month before it's considered late. So in some cases, some people may need that extra week or two in order to make payment on there. Unlike when you're renting, you have to pay that within the first 4 or 5 days of the month, or you're going to get hit with late fees, court fees, and all types of other fees when you're not on time. When you own a home, you have up until the 15th of the month to actually make a payment. So that is something that you can take into consideration as far as the benefits of home ownership. And then another thing about home ownership is, people buy homes, you can pass something on to value to your children and or your grandchildren. These things are very critical when it pertains to, generational wealth for your loved ones. Owning a home does that. You're leaving them something legacy. And then, a lot of times by the time things are passed on to children and grandchildren, most of the time these things are paid off. So a lot of times all they have to pay is the property taxes, keep up with the property taxes. So these are some things that I think people should take into consideration when they are talking about the benefits of a home. Again, tax benefit. Again, you can start a business. You can also use it to pull money out if you need to, have some extra cash for whatever reason, whether it's starting that business, whether it's to pay off bills, you can do a HELOC. And then also in most cases, home is more spacious than any apartment is in most cases. And again, when you're renting something, you have to pay by the 4th or no later than the 5th. When you own a home, you have up until the 15th of the month to do so. And again, one of the most important things is passing on a legacy to your children and or your grandchildren. Home ownership benefits you in many, many, many ways. So I wanted to talk about that so people can get a full understanding. And then the next topic I'm going to be talking about is benefits of using a realtor, so you can understand how these things go together, because it's much more than just watching HGTV or watching, going on Zillow or Redfin. So I'm going to be back in 1 second in reference to that other topic. Hello, Cindy. How are you?
I am great, Damon, the agent. How
I
are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for coming on today. I know your time is very limited as far as you hopping on then hopping off real quick. But I wanted to bring you on here specifically because you're the customer care person in our office, and on top of that, you work and deal with so many agents in many ways, and you've been doing this for years. And I'm just talking about the benefits of today. The first thing I talked about was the benefits of home ownership. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the benefit of using a realtor, which they go together. And then I'm going to also end it by talking about just benefits of genuine friends of that nature. So I just wanted you to share some of the thoughts and ideas of why most consumers can benefit from using a realtor.
Okay, well, Damon, just to give a little backstory to your audience, I've been in the real estate industry for over 17 years. Yes, I started when I was two. And, my role, I am also licensed. However, my job is to make sure that the agents are trained, they're ready to serve you, the consumer. And also to make sure Damon is, doing what he needs to do too to serve his clients at the highest level. There are there are eight of them reasons that I'm bringing today as to why you should use a realtor.
Okay.
Not a realtor, it's a real tour. I learned that. It was drilled into my head a long time ago by my instructor, real tour. And so the first one is going to be your real tour is number one, you tap into the pricing expert of your agent. So your agents are the expert. They're constantly studying the market. They know what's happening. They know the movement of the market. So they are, really the expert that you should look for when it comes to purchasing a home, selling a home, or investing in real estate. That's the first one. Number two, you don't have to, go find contractors on your own because our agent partners have relationship partners. They have allied partner resources that they have vet for you to so that you can use them at the highest level. And, I'm sure, Damon, in your years of being in real estate, you have folks that you're like, okay, this one is good, this one's great, use this person. And you've recommended um, clients to your preferred vendor, be it
Correct.
a mover, or whomever they may be. So
Right.
keep in mind that, as a real estate professional, we tend to become the Google of real estate for our agent partners. And because we study the market and we know the people who can serve you best.
Correct. Number
Also, you learn what sells in your area. I mean, you may not pay attention. I heard Damon say it earlier, Zillow. You might look at Zillow, but sometimes, Zillow is not always right. And so you want to lean on your real estate agent to really help guide you to getting the right price. So pricing it right first will allow you to sell really quickly. And
right.
so any thoughts on that, Damon?
Well, basically, I like you said with Zillow, I think people, because Zillow does a great marketing, and so does Redfin, that a lot of people tend to gravitate towards them. And like you said, they're not always accurate, and they're not
Right.
always in real time too. That's what I like to share with people, because I know people who property were not on the market, but when you go on Zillow, the property is on Zillow. So some
Yeah,
people send me properties that they've gotten off Zillow. I look it up. I'm like, this property is not on the market. Then when I look at it, the property probably sold in 2011. So
correct.
they have a lot of inaccurate information. And at the same time, everything that you said, like when knows the market inside and out. Of course, we know the market. Like agents study the market, but sometimes some consumers think with the internet that they may know more. And
Mhm.
I'm going to elaborate more about that. And at the same time, with the partners, the vendors, we know the entire, everyone is involved in a transaction from beginning to end. All consumers don't know. They just think that they write a contract, they deal with their lender. That's it. That's what some people think. They're not taking about into consideration the appraisal. They're not taking about the home inspector. They're not talking about the title company. They're not talking about just everyone that's involved. So we do have partners that we work with in order to get the job done. We have to,
Yeah.
there's many people. It's the seller, buyer, selling agent, um, listing agent, lender, appraisal, home inspector, title company. All these
Wait, are
people.
you counting? Damon, it's about 20 some odd individuals who touches a contract from start all the way to finish.
Right.
And, the consumer may not get to see these people behind the scenes, but the real estate agent, they are the ones who are interacting and they're going to battle for you so
Mhm.
that you know that you're working with an expert who has your best interest at heart, either buying, selling, or investing.
And another thing about us as realtors, we have to know the state laws.
Right.
That's where one of the things consumers don't take into consideration. They think they can go on, watch HGTV, and then they think they can write a contract because HGTV makes it seem so simple. You look at, oh, they just signed one piece of paper on there. It's not that simple. So it's laws that are involved with each of these transactions, and if you do not do it properly, you could go to jail. Which people don't understand that aspect of the real
Oh,
estate because
yeah.
everything seems so simple in industry. That's why it's a high turnover rate. I always tell people it's a high turnover rate. If you look at, everybody knows somebody who's a realtor. Like sometimes in their own family, my cousin was a realtor, and I always ask when people say that, why isn't your cousin doing real estate now? That's the question I ask. And
Yeah.
some people say, oh, well, they put their license in inactive. And I said, no, that's what they told you. They put it in inactive. I said they weren't selling anything, because if they were selling hundreds of houses, trust me, they wouldn't have put their license in inactive. They weren't selling for a reason. And it's not always pertaining to just marketing or anything. It's the know-how. What I'm saying? It's a lot of knowledge that's involved when it pertains to being a realtor. You have to be on top of your game and be very knowledgeable about this, because you do have some consumers who know more about real estate than some of the agents, and they will question them on what they know and see what response they will get back. And based off their response, sometimes they will actually not use that realtor. And then they'll call a realtor like myself or someone like you or whatever, ask us the question. We know the answer. Then they want to use us because we tend to know more than they know, and they can tell just based off the conversation. So, yeah, so that is, some of the benefits. And I
I
have,
have a couple of more, Damon. So, just in alignment with what you're saying, our agents, why use a realtor? Because we have the multiple listing system.
mm-hmm,
We're able to put your listings on the market and other real estate agents can find it for their clients. So using the multiple listing system, that's definitely a perk.
right. Yeah. So, yeah. So basically, Eve is coming on here briefly too, because she has like a few minutes, just like you have a few minutes. So I just wanted to get some people who can share some of their experience as far as the benefits of using the realtor. So yeah. So Eve, I don't know if you heard what we were talking about in reference to some of the benefits, but we were just sharing that, as a realtor, we know the state laws. As a realtor, we have connections with everyone involved in the transaction. On top of that, we save clients time because we know the market. And in many cases, I save my clients money. I save them
Mhm.
thousands of dollars. I know this one situation where this lady contacted me and I took her out. The first day I took her out, she one of the houses she chose, we wrote an offer. While we were going through the whole process, she told me she had a co-worker on her job who refused to use a realtor, and said that her coworker kept saying, "Oh, you don't need a realtor; you could do it yourself." But she said her coworker had been looking for a house for over a year, and she found one in less, and she went to settlement in less than a month. So the point that I make is, you have people who think they know more than realtors. You have people who think they can do this on their own. They think it's so simple. They think, "Oh, it's easy being a real estate agent." That's what they think. And then and people always say, "Oh, I want to try being a real estate agent." And I always say to them, real estate is going to try you, because
Mm.
if you really don't know what you're doing, it's going to try you. So, Eve, you have anything to elaborate on or share? I know you two are
Can you hear me?
pressed for time, so I'm not going to hold you too long.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess mimic off everything you guys saying. that it is very, very important to use an agent for, especially when you go to new construction, because, and of course, when you go in there, the people, they so nice and they become your friend, but not realizing that if stuff hit the fan, they don't represent you, they represent the builder.
Exactly.
So you have to have a you have to have a realtor. I can give an example for one of my clients that almost lost their house during the highs of the market. And they literally, to me, I felt in my heart, they wanted to take the home from her so they can sell it for more, because she was on a contract, maybe I think 2 years. And when the house market went up, they found ways to get her out of contract. For instance, she was not approved with the builder, and when they gave her their preferred lender, she couldn't do the work. And when I wanted them to have her use my lender, who said he can do the work, they was giving her hard times to a point where they told her that if you don't show up on your settlement date, that you forfeit everything. We're keeping all your money. So as a realtor, I'm not gonna have my client. This is why we go well and beyond for our client. I stayed up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I looked up the corporate's information, and I wrote a letter, and I had her to look over the letter, in which I gave her the letter for her to email to the corporate. And from that point, she responded. And yes, we did have to pay the $100, whatever a day, for the new closing day.
Per
But
diem.
they allowed my lender to do the loan, and she got her house.
That's great.
So if you don't have a realtor, this right here would not have taken place. And I also had one client that told me, this same building, I'm not saying no name, they were under contract, and for some reason they said you're not approved no more, and they took the house away. And they called me, they was complaining. I ended up finding them another house, and I told them, you guys should have had a realtor when you went to that builder. So never ever again go by yourself, because when stuff happens, you don't have anyone to advocate on your behalf or give you advice and stuff like that. And like I always tell my client, the paperwork that comes to me, we still have people behind me that checks all your paperwork for you. So don't just think that, having a realtor it stops with me. You have my broker, you have the whole team that will back you up if something happens. So it's very, very important. So this is my experience in going well and beyond for one of my clients, that if she would not have had me, she would have lost that house.
And I just want to piggyback off of that. I had a client one time that I was showing houses, and she made a stop in a new construction. And when she made a stop in a new construction, I always tell clients, if you do that, to make sure you put my name on there. So she did that. So she went in there and she said, I saw this house that I really like, but they were telling me that it was going to cost this amount. This was way before like the height of the market. This was probably back in 2016. So I said, okay, let's go in there. So we went in there. So I told the sales rep, I said, well, my client is willing to make this offer. And she said to me, they're not going to accept that. And I said, well, you work for the builder. You don't make the final decision.
Right.
So I said, why don't we do this? I said, why don't you call your manager, tell them what I said, and see what they had to say. So the manager wanted to speak to me. So after I spoke to the manager, not only, and this is what I know about new construction, with new construction, they want to get rid of every inventory before the month closes. They want to get it off their books. So at that particular time, it was a lot of inventory. So after I spoke to them, my client only put $1 down for EMD, and
Right.
we got the property for like $15,000 less. So what, and like what you said, Eve, a lot of times people go into new constructions thinking they don't need a realtor, because they clearly, the sales rep clearly tell them you don't need a realtor, because they work for the builder. And just like you said, if something happens, and I remember having another client that bought in a development, and I was telling them all this advice, and I strongly advised them to get a home inspection. And the people were like, this is a new construction, they don't need a home inspection. I said, you're getting a home inspection for your peace of mind, not for what they say, because they're throwing these houses up very quickly. So understand, you're getting it for your peace of mind. So my client got the home inspection, come to find out that the electrical wiring in the box was off, the plumbing was off, and everything. Because what happens is, when you do that final walkthrough of new construction, they always give you that blue tape, and they say, oh, if you see any marks on the wall, just put it on there. They just try to get you to look at that, but they're not understanding it's much deeper than what you see. It's much deeper than what they're going to tell you. So a lot of times having that realtor saves them time and money. Just like what you said, you were able to get the house from, it saves them a lot of money, but it costs them nothing to really have a realtor to represent them. That's what they don't understand. They're not paying our commission. You know, when we are working for them on the buyer side, they're not paying our commission. All they pay is the broker, like the little admin fee, which is a couple of $100. But what's a couple of $100 when you're talking about thousands of dollars? So yeah, people should surely understand the benefits of using a realtor, whether it's new construction, resale, or anything. So I really appreciate you two coming on. Do you all have any final words? Because I'm not going to hold. I'm going to let y'all go in 4 minutes or less because I know y'all got to go. So, Cindy, any final words?
Yeah, when you use your a realtor, just remember you don't have to worry about the paperwork. Eve said it, you said it, and I'm going to reiterate that we take care of all of that. So even up to 7 years later, we're keeping that file to make sure that you are staying every I's are dotted, every T is crossed, so that we can make sure on the back end, if there's anything that comes up, we're taking care of it first.
Right. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And what about you, E?
So and I do want to say thank you, Damon, for having me on here. This is very informative. So I just want to say, everything that Cindy and Damon has said is so true. I always make sure you're doing your due diligence and having someone to represent you. That's what we train for, and never look at the dollar or how much and stuff like that. Just make sure you have your realtor to do their job, and they're with you every step of the way, and also listen, especially when they're saying do your get your home inspection. The home inspection is something that we can advise you to do. We cannot make you to do, but that's why we're here to make sure that you're doing the right thing, and you buying a home that you're gonna have a peace of mind later, not buying a home and having issues. So your realtor will guide you the right way, and all the way from the beginning to the end. So it's so important to have a realtor when you're going through this transaction, because this is one of the biggest investment you will ever do for you and your family. So you want to make sure that you have that person there to guide you the correct way, or advise you um, the right thing. So, the right way to get to the end. So this is all I wanted to say. So I just want to say thank you again, Damon, for having me on. I hope it helps someone to not go in there, or new instructions, and not having a realtor. And also one more thing, and also even if you are looking and you saying that, oh, seen a house and I don't need a realtor and I'm going to contact the seller's agent. Also remember that seller's agent is representing the seller. So at that point you become their customer. So that agent is not going to have your best interest because they already represent the seller. So if you see a home, don't call the agent, the seller's agent, to say, "Oh, how much is the house?" and I want to buy. Make sure you have somebody to represent you, because they're never gonna come back and tell you what the seller is saying, because they actually represent the seller. So always make sure you have someone on your corner to represent you when it comes to you purchasing a home, because this is one of the biggest investment you will ever do, and this is a lot of money in line for it. So
Right.
that's my 2 cents for today.
Well, I appreciate your
I
two
hope I didn't
cents. Your
take
two
hold
cents is very
long.
valuable.
Oh shoot, and we right on time, 12:29. So
Yeah, so I thank you both for coming on. I know you both have places to be and people to see, and I'll see y'all in the office today. I'll be there around 5:30. So
okay, all right.
Perfect.
thank you all.
Hi, Cindy. Good seeing you. I'll see you later on this evening.
Yes. See you
Thank
soon.
you.
Thank you
Okay.
both.
All right, talk to you all later.
Okay. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Yeah, so I thank Evelyn Walker for coming on, and also Cindy Singh for coming on as well too. I appreciate them both for taking the time to elaborate on a few things in reference to the benefits of using a realtor. So like I was saying, and like they were saying, a realtor saves you time, money. A realtor knows the ins and out of what's going on in the housing market. We are much more updated than Zillow, because let's say we find out something right now, even without listing, all the houses you see on Zillow and Redfin, they come from a realtor. that's not affiliated with Zillow or Redfin. So basically, we basically know what's going on. So if my houses that I put on the market, Eve houses that she put on the market, any agent house that we put on the market, it comes on right then and there. And then an agent, let's say if I put a house on the market, Eve will get that instant notification right then and there. You're looking on Zillow, they may get it today's what, Friday, they may get it on Monday, because a lot of times their system does not, it's not in real time. Real time is right now. Like right now, my watch says it is 12:31. That's real time. Okay. So a lot of times those other places are not updated, but when it pertains to the benefits of using a realtor, we negotiate for our clients. We know the ins and out. We know the laws. We know how to apply pressure. We know how to apply things in order to work on the best benefits and interests of our clients. That is the benefit of a realtor. And depending on which side you're on, like I previously mentioned, if you're looking to buy, you using a realtor, you definitely should use one, because you're not paying a commission to the buyer's agent. You're paying nothing. So why, if you're looking to buy, why don't you use a realtor? Because it costs you nothing, practically nothing. Sometimes a couple of $100, that's it. If that, sometimes nothing. So you could get free representation that's going to save you thousands, but some people don't use it because they think they know more. And sometimes they end up selling themselves short. Like, for example, she had mentioned about, Eve had mentioned about using the seller's agent. And I just had a lady who contacted me earlier this week. I kid you not. And it's ironic she said that. Lady just recently bought a house 2 weeks ago. And when she bought the house, she said she wished she'd known me sooner. She told me what took place and everything. So when I looked at all the information, I could have got her a better deal. I could have got her more. But, they say that my people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. So a lot of times I'm trying to come on here to give most of you all a lot of knowledge when it pertains to real estate, because I am one of those agents who like to educate my clients. I'm educating you all, even though I don't, like, all of you all don't use me, which I wish you all did. I'm here. I'm for you all. But at the same time, though, I'm just still trying to educate people so they can fully understand a lot of things when it pertains to real estate, because real estate is not just what you all see. You see people holding a for sale sign and keys, and you think, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's that simple. It's not. There's a lot of ins and out with real estate. There's a lot of know-how. There's a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of laws that are involved when it pertains to real estate. So I'm trying to give you all this information so you all can definitely use it where you all see fit. So I just want you all to know that when it pertains to using a realtor, always use a realtor, even with new construction, because like Eve had mentioned, the sales rep, when you walk in, represents the builder. And a lot of times when you walk in there, they will tell you you do not need a realtor. And truthfully, you do, especially someone who knows what they're doing and has experience with dealing with new construction. You do. Because, like Eve said, if something messes up, what sometimes they do, and I've known people who've gone through new construction and had lost their entire EMD, thousands of dollars, 5,000, 10,000, $25,000. They've lost that in their earnest money deposit because they didn't have a realtor, and it was a breach of contract, because the builders will put pressure on you as a buyer. When you go in there and you sign that, they have dates and deadlines. And here's the thing about builders and new construction. If they need to adjust those dates or deadline because of the weather, because of supply, you have nothing to do. You have no choice but to sign off on it, right? But if you need to make an adjustment, guess what? If you don't abide by the dates and deadlines, they're going to try to take your money, and then they're going to try to resell your property to someone else for more than what they were trying to sell it to you. That's how a lot of new constructions work. But you don't know that because some people don't have the experience of that. I have experience of seeing that. I have experience because I know. And I'm just explaining to you, when it pertains to new construction, always use a realtor, especially a realtor who knows what they're doing. Just like the example that I gave of the young lady, made a stop. She really liked the house of the new construction. I told her, let's go back the next day. We went back. Then I told the lady what we were going to offer. The lady said, oh, they're not going to take that. My words was, you don't make the final decision. You're a sales rep. Okay. Let me speak to the person who made the final decision. Spoke with the sales manager. had some words with her. I was able to get my client that house. She's still in it to this day. So, when there's a will, there's a way. And then sometimes, when it pertains to us as agents, you know what I'm saying, especially someone who's been around, I have relationships with a lot of people, a lot of agents, just like Cindy was talking about the relationship we have. And sometimes those relationships will be the key to getting what one of my clients want. I had another client in which to this day he bought a house a couple of years ago for like about it was a foreclosed property, and it was worth, it's in a gated community, and it was worth at the time, I think it was worth like 500,000 or something like that. The house worth close to $1 million now. But here's the thing, I knew the agent, so they had a lot of offers on the property, but guess who won? My client. So sometimes that relationship plays a big role as well too. And I'm just saying that always use a realtor, because if somebody would have went on their own and tried to went through that agent, 9 times out of 10 they wouldn't have got that house. So you got to know what to do, how to do it. Just like, for example, many of you are professionals in your field or your career or your job. No one can do your job better than you. There's some people on the outside who think they can do their job better than you, but nobody can do it better than you, because you know the ins and outs. You know little loopholes and stuff that they don't even know about. Same thing. As realtors, we know loopholes that many of you consumers don't know about. Just because there's a lot of free information on the internet don't mean that you have all of the information, because as realtors, we have to pay a board every year. And when we pay the board, why would we pay the board and they're providing everything to the consumer? No, they provide you a limited information. That's why sometimes when I've had clients who sent me houses that they gotten off of Redfin, Zillow, and then when I look it up, I see a lot more information. And then I tell them. Then when I tell them, they're like, "Oh, I didn't see that." I say, "Yeah, because there's only some information that's going to be shown on the internet to the world. Other information is only realtors can see." So these are things to keep in mind when it pertains to the benefits of using a realtor. There are many benefits to using a realtor. Another benefit is if you're buying, you're not really paying the realtor. You're not paying the realtor's commission on anything. So please keep that in mind when it pertains to the benefits of using a realtor. So I'm going to come back and briefly in like 30 seconds and talk about the benefits of genuine friendship. I'll be right back. Thank you for sticking with me. Now, today I've been talking about the benefits of, I began my show with the benefits of home ownership. I also just was talking about the benefits of using a realtor. Now, I don't want to talk about the benefits of having genuine friendships and relationships with people, whether these people are friends or family. Sometimes you can have a cousin that can be your best friend, or that can be your worst enemy. It's all about relationships, people. But I want to first begin by, when I talk about this subject, giving my condolences to Shaquila Robinson's family. That's the young lady who went over to Mexico with so-called friends and ended up losing her life, unexpectedly, unknowingly, because she was amongst people who she thought were her friends. Throughout life, we're going to always cross a lot of people, beginning with family. We're going to cross people in school. We're going to cross people on our jobs. And some of the relationships that we establish with these people are going to be good, and some of them are going to be bad. But, I just want to explain certain things about the genuine versus the non-genuine. So the non-genuine relationships are the ones of the snakes and fakes, and this applies to anybody you come across, whether they're family, friends, co-workers, or whatever. The people who are non-genuine, they'll do conniving things. They'll set you up. They'll plot against you. They'll hate on you because you walk in a room and you just exist. Might be mad because of shoes you got on, or because of, your eyes or your shape or your size or anything. Um, they'll talk negative about you. They will lie on you, they will steal for you, and they will wish nothing but the very worst for you. Stay away from them people. A lot of times we get signs of who they are, but sometimes people try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and then sometimes the benefit of the doubt becomes regretful later on. Please stay away from people that doesn't mean you any harm. People that you got bad vibes about, people that are saying negative things all the time. You'll never, reach your potential in life hanging with these people. Because you have to understand that in life, as you go and you grow, who you hang with is a reflection of you. They always say the five people, if you give a person the five closest people they hang with, they can tell them about you. So that means if you hung with five people who were business minded, people are going to assume you're business minded. If you hung with five people who were all crooks, people are going to assume that you're a crook. You get my point. So you have to understand that when you have good people in your life, whether they're your family or your friends, you want to always nurture those relationships, because genuinely good people are you're going to find in this world are very hard to come by. Everybody doesn't have your best interests, but those who have your best interests are going to be those who take initiative, those who you don't have to say anything and you're going to see that they're going to do actions because they're more proactive than reactive. Those that when you're down are going to try to lift you up. These are going to be the people that you build good and bad memories with. These are the genuinely people in your life. But you want to try to have these nurturing and genuinely good friendships and relationship with people, because as you go through life, you know, having good companionship is a necessity, whether we realize it or not. That's why when you see people who are really like introverts or people who stay to themselves, they still get a dog, they still get a cat, because they need that companionship. None of us are meant to be alone. But when you develop the good relationship and nurture those that you have, like I said, you create good and bad memories. You don't want to be alone. As if you get sick, um, or like whenever the time comes that we shall all pass away, you want to have people saying good things on your behalf. Um, you know, and the fact is, though, is nurturing good relationship starts with just being nice to people, being nice to those who are nice to you. Nurturing good relationship is all about, what I'm saying, like not taking advantage of a person's niceness, but understanding that they're a rare person that's in your life. Because sometimes with people sometimes take advantage of people and they don't even realize it. You're not used to a person doing nice things to you and for you. So you'll just sit back and take it and take it and take without reciprocation. But reciprocation goes a long way because, excuse me, most people want to feel appreciated. And I think nowadays people are not valued or appreciated like they should. Everybody always feels um, like, okay, they didn't check on me, they didn't check on me. But why you didn't check on them? You know, Everybody goes through things. People can't always check on you. It's not one way, it's not one sided. Understanding that maintaining and having good relationship begins with communication. And communication, okay, communication is a two-way street. It's not a one-way street. It's not someone calling or texting you all the time. It's you both calling and texting each other. But sometimes people will stop because, oh, they ain't called me. You know, they ain't called me, so I ain't calling them. But sometimes when it's one-sided, the person who's always calling may stop to see if you call. And you don't call, guess what that is? That's selfishness. And that's why I said for the relationships that you have, the genuinely good relationship, you need to nurture those relationships, because in life, as you get older, you're going to realize the more and more you deal with people, the more and more who was there for you, the more and more who was truly a good friend to you. compared to the selfish people. Let's just face it, most people out here are selfish. It's all about them. It's all about how they feel. You know, that's just how society is today. It's a lot of selfish people, very few unselfish people. But the unselfish people get taken advantage of so bad because they're so used to giving. They're so used to, looking out for everyone else. But who's looking out for them? So when you have these genuinely good relationships, you should maintain and nurture them because, those relationships hold memories throughout a lifetime that no money can ever replace. So I want you all to take that into consideration to understand the benefits of a genuine relationship. Because like I said, whether it's with your cousin, whether it's with your siblings, whether it's with your friends, nurture these relationships because they're hard to come by. Some people, complain about anything, but fail to realize there are millions of people at the grave that will replace your complaint today. A lot of people who are dead, who died yesterday, who didn't see today, they'll take your place in a heartbeat. Trust me, because they didn't know yesterday was going to be their last day. So I say that to say that when it pertains to these genuine friendships, please be aware of them because they're not something that comes easily. I just want people to maintain and realize that. Again, I know the late young lady Shaquila Robinson probably thought that those people were her friends. And unfortunately, they weren't her friends. They were people who were hating on her, plotting on her. And people do it every day. It's better to separate yourself and be alone and get a dog or cat than to be around a bunch of snakes and fakes. Because, like I said, these people will set you up, plot against you, hate on you, talk negative about you, lie on you, steal from you, and wish nothing but the very worst for you. But you got to do what's best for you. But also understand that having genuinely good relationships is good for your soul. It's good for memories. It's good for your lifetime. It's good for, making you a better person. Try to maintain and hold on to these genuine relationships because everybody doesn't have them. A lot of people got friends, so-called friends, but a lot of people ain't real friends because the test of time will show you who your real friends are. You know, situations show you who your real friends are. Just like even in families, blood make people related, but situations make people family. And that's what people don't understand. Just because you got the same blood, same last name, don't mean that you're your family. Just mean that you're related. And we all have those. We all have people that we're related to, but they ain't really our family because something has shown us that they weren't there for us or vice versa, So keep that in mind. I just want people to think about that. So I'm about to give a recap of today's episode. All right, here's the recap. Today's show, episode 36, was the benefits of home ownership, the benefits of using a realtor, and the benefits of a genuine relationship. So let's begin with the home ownership. Like I mentioned earlier, benefits include it's a tax benefit. You get a nice write-off, you save a lot of money. Another benefit is you can pull money out of it to personally get money yourself without going through the bank and getting the consumer loan. You also can have more space. That's another benefit. Another benefit is you can take a little longer when it pertains to making that payment if you do not have the money right then and there. So you can, instead of paying on the 4th or the 5th, you have up until the 15th. So you actually have about 2 weeks to make a payment. Another benefit is a lot of times you have a lot more space. Another one is you have some property to pass on to your children or your children's children, which is your grandchildren. And these benefits are why having being a homeowner is very critical these days and stuff because you can benefit in many ways when you own property. versus when you're renting. There are many benefits. And then another benefit is 9 times out of 10, your mortgage payment will be lower than most of your rent. 9 times out of 10. At one time out of 10, depends on the price of the home you're buying, you know. But 9 times out of 10, your house payment is cheaper than your rent payment. That is one of the benefits. Those are the benefits of home ownership. Now, let's talk about the benefits of using a realtor. Benefits of using a realtor is we know the market inside and out. We know before information gets to Zillow or any of those other companies. We know, we know. Trust me, we know. We also know the laws. You know, there are laws associated with writing contracts and things of that nature. It's not just what you think. And the reason why these laws are put in place is to protect the consumer and to protect you as a buyer or a seller. We know these laws. We have to study. We take continuing education every 2 years for a reason. We take it to make sure we're updated and on top of the laws and stuff. So because we know the laws, we know what can and cannot be done. On top of that, we know how to maneuver in and out of these transactions, and we know how to give great representation for our clients. And we have a lot of partners that we deal with. We know the ins and outs as far as the beginning of the transaction to the end and everyone that's involved. Most people don't know. They just think it's one or two people, but it's much more than that in order to have a smooth transaction. So we know these things. And again, a benefit of a realtor is if you're on the buying side, you don't pay any commission. If you're on the selling side, trying to get you the most money as possible, because a lot of times you have a lot of for sale by owners out there who think they can do things themselves, and they end up selling themselves short in many ways. A lot of times they do not get as much as they think they can get, and a lot of times they mess up, and a lot of times they get in legal trouble themselves because they don't always know the law. So there are many benefits to using a realtor. And also, if you go into new construction, another benefit is, again, you don't pay the commission. You get free, great representation that's going to save you time and money. Those are some of the benefits with using a realtor. And last but not least, the benefits of a genuine friendship. Benefits are companionship, making good, great memories, having someone to have your back, you know what I'm saying, doing good things, building, learning, growing together, and and just having that fantastic friendship that's going to be a lifetime because we all need friendship. We all need to benefit and we all benefit from companionship and interaction with each other. That's why during COVID, people had to get out and not having that interaction and stuff like that drove some people crazy, literally and physically. So those are some of the benefits of a genuine friendship. And remember, there are some negative things that I like to just point out when it pertains to when friendships are not genuine. Those are the people who hating on you. Those are the people who are fakes and snakes. Those are the people who stir up their face when you walk in a room. Just because you exist. You could be trying to be the best you as possible, but people can be hating on you because you're you. That's life. Just always know that people who want the best for you are going to show you, and people who want the worst for you are going to show you. But those genuine friendship, you need to nurture because tomorrow is not promised to anyone. To anyone. So please maintain those friendships and everything, and always kiss and thank your loved ones just for them existing. Just say, "I love you," just because. To your friends as well too. People need to hear that. Whether you realize not, appreciation goes a long way, a long way. So I hope you all understood today. The topic was the benefits of home ownership, using a realtor, and a genuine friendship. Hope you enjoyed the show. Today was episode 36. Also, please check out my website, damontheagent.com, for all of your real estate needs in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And also follow me on all social media platforms. Hashtag is always Damon the Agent. I thank you all for coming to the show. We'll see you next week. Stay warm, and I'll see you out there.